Welcome to another episode with Loans Elevated. My name is Broch Lassig, top 1% loan officer nationwide.
And I'm TJ Heidenreich. Together we bring the latest news, strategies, and insights in the mortgage and real estate industry.
Okay, we're back with a very, very exciting topic today, and that is a real estate joint venture. So what we're finding in the industry now, and this has been going on for several years, is a complaint that affordability is an issue for some or many people. So clearly the past and the future, if you look at the data, points towards massive financial opportunity in investing in real estate.
Well, just to back up, I think no matter what market we've been in, it seems like there's been an affordability issue. Mm-hmm. The last market we had just left, it was an affordability issue because prices were too high. Well, now it's an affordability issue because rates are too high. Mm-hmm. So, but the common theme, and I think you're diving into, is over the long term, real estate's still going to appreciate at a good amount. Mm-hmm. Rate of return is going to be way better than anything else you could do. Mm-hmm.
Way better. And it's crazy because all these people are fearful. Mm-hmm. Like, it's uncertain times. It was uncertain when rates were super low. Mm-hmm. House prices were high. There were 20, 30 offers on a home. It's uncertain now because rates are super high. Mm-hmm. The news and media is saying that the bubble's about to bust. We will gladly share the data with you that shows that there's almost no way that's going to happen. But if you go talk to those clients, we have several of them that have been working with us for years. Mm-hmm. They've legitimately lost hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
By waiting because of the uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are always striving to come up with unique, clever strategies that help you navigate the market conditions and get into this opportunity. Because every time in hindsight, I've never heard of somebody saying, man, I wish I wouldn't have bought that house. I literally never have.
No. Yeah.
No one. Whether I've been in the business or before I got in the business, never, ever have I heard somebody say, I sure wish I didn't buy that house 5 years ago.
No, exactly. Well, what's the alternative? Renting?
But you're paying somebody else. You're still paying a mortgage, mind you.
Right.
It's just not your mortgage.
Right. And rent prices continue to increase.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep, 100%. So oftentimes, like what we find that drives a lot of this uncertainty and fear is a real actual limitation or a perceived limitation for the people. So you have what we often find, the people that aren't buying anyway. You have one set of people or potential borrowers that they have plenty of income to qualify for a mortgage, but they don't have funding available for a down payment. Mm-hmm. So they have to go with a more expensive loan that is making it unaffordable for them and their family. Alternatively, you have the people that have plenty of cash. Maybe they've sold a business or sold an asset, or they've just saved and they've got money in retirement. Whatever the case is, they have that, but they just don't have the income to qualify for the home they want and invest that into the real estate. Or maybe they just don't have the income maybe they don't have enough cash to buy like an investment property, for example, and they aren't in the market for a primary. Yeah. I mean, there's a dozen different reasons, but it's either you have income, limited cash, or you have plenty of cash and the income is the barrier. So,
I mean, and right now it sucks for those borrowers because there's major opportunity right now with rates being high. You can go in, you can still negotiate, albeit it's not like it was just a few weeks ago when you could negotiate and get all the seller concessions. Now we're seeing a little bit more multiple offers coming back.
But here's the deal. It is true. Mm-hmm. It's not as bad as it was.
Yep,
I think there's more people that are grabbing onto this idea that, okay, maybe rates will come down. Maybe this whole date the rate, marry the house thing, that maybe there's something to this. More people are buying in. So we have more people coming to the market a little bit, not a lot yet. But the other issue is we have inventory dropping.
Exactly. That's what I can dive into.
That's the deal, right? Mm-hmm. We went from like something like 8,000 listings to now like 6,000 something.
Yeah, around that range.
That's been the change. Mm-hmm. But what we can do still, which is powerful, is similar to markets in the past. Mm-hmm. I think the market we had for a temporary period where you were just legit getting $30,000 in incentives, that's the best market I've ever seen, and I think it's the best market that's existed in 20 years or more.
Exactly. It was, what's the max seller concessions? Cool, let's go ask for it.
Let's get it, and we're also offering lower than the asking price. Yeah. So it was huge. Now that's kind of passed and probably won't come back, but what we have as an opportunity right now is values are still supportive enough that you can now increase your offer. So if the list price is $500, you can say, I'm going to offer you $510, and I want you to pay me $10,000 towards closing costs.
Yep.
So in essence, you have the ability to still finance closing costs, still capitalize on some strategies to make things more affordable.
Yeah, and this is a little bit off topic, but I think that is really, really big, because if you're increasing the purchase price and say you're doing like a program such as like a 2-1 buy down, 1-0 buy down, or 3-2-1 buy down, well, say if rates do come down and you refinance before you take full advantage of that 2-1 or 3-2-1 buy down, the money is given back to you in form of a principal reduction. Mm-hmm. So that money's not lost. I mean, it's a kind of a no-brainer.
And that's what this market provides. That the last market, so we have high rates, but the market provides opportunities to dampen the pain of the high rates. In the previous market, when you were offering 30 to 50 to 100,000 over list price, the market really didn't have a strategy for that. We weren't allowing 105% LTV loans. You still had to put a down payment plus cover the gap of whatever the appraisal was and the purchase price. So that was for sure more of a restrictive market than we're in now.
Oh, definitely.
And so now let's dive in. Let's scale things back. The real estate joint venture. That's what we're talking about. And this is the strategy that gives people the people that have not taken the leap. And whether it's because they can't afford it, or maybe they don't feel confident taking the risk because they're not 100% confident in their job security, whatever. There's many, many reasons people haven't purchased yet. Some is the uncertainty we just talked about. The joint venture is the perfect strategy to get those people to joint venture. And what that means is you just go find a friend or a family member that is willing to go in and purchase a property with you, and they have the capacity that mitigates the risk for you, whatever your risk is. Whether your risk is you don't have enough down payment, so the financing's too expensive, maybe this joint venture partner has a down payment. Maybe you don't have the income, maybe this joint venture partner has the additional income to help you qualify for the mortgage and buy a home. That is the strategy, and it's really important to be considering these ideas and take advantage before the opportunity we have goes away and we dive into another market like we saw during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. And that market's really not that far off if you look at it, just because of the shortage of houses. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I personally did the joint venture thing. That's how I got into my first home when I was 18 years old. I was playing the college game, and I had a strategy to come up with the monthly payment for my mortgage every single month. It was better than living in a dorm and paying the expensive fees that come with dorms. And so I presented the strategy to my parents, and all I was short with was qualifying for the loan and the down payment.
So he didn't have the documentable income, and he didn't have the cash, but he had a plan to get the payment paid for. So
every single month. So I presented them with that strategy, and I was able to buy my home for $322,000. Since then, that home is now worth around $750,000, and it had it not been for that, it would have set me years behind in getting into a home.
So check this out. We have a person. You were 18 years old. You developed a strategy, pitched it to your parents. It was a sound strategy because it's real estate. It's not like you're buying some. It's not like you're buying some weird business or something, right? It's like there is an asset they get to invest in. They were co-owners with him. He had the obligation to pay the full payment. Now, of course, they had some obligation because if you stop paying the payments, there is risk. So,
their money was at risk with the down payment.
Right, because it was in there, and it could have been lost. So that's where joint venture comes. But you got in, you paid a payment. You basically made in profit half of $350,000. $175,000.
Exactly.
Your parents invested a small amount because here's the trick: if you're buying a primary home, you don't have to invest a lot of money. It's like 3 or 5% down. So they invested like 10. Grand?
Yeah, something like that. Something ridiculously low.
They invest $10,000 in cash. Of course, they trust their son to make the payment if he's saying he can do it. And they made $175,000 in just a handful of years.
Exactly.
It's insane. Like you invest a monthly payment, they invest one time $10,000. I mean, they got the sweeter end of this deal and make $175,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's outrageous.
And then it's given us the opportunity to leverage that real estate to purchase other real estate in the future. And I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer at that point.
Dude, it's ridiculous. So I hope you're hearing what we're saying. We can't. It could be young buyers like TJ was at 18. It could be other buyers that are in a weird.
Yeah, I've got one right now that I've got a client as of this morning that they're self-employed and on their tax returns they're showing a loss. Now that's just their tax returns. They're actually bringing in money, but due to taxes and how the self-employment works,
self-employed
they want to
people
write
get
everything
the
off.
opportunity. Yeah, they
want
write
to write everything off.
Yep.
So they're going in joint venture with a partner on a property that they're purchasing, and they qualify no problem. And it's the best of both worlds for them. Because
so the joint venture is now bringing in the income.
Yep.
Your client has the money to put down.
Exactly.
So they're going in with satisfactory risk. And there are ways to split up who owns what portion. So there's legal ways to get yourself in more of a formal agreement on who gets what portion of the equity when you sell or whatever. Yep. So you can make this more formal, but the concept is like all we're doing is, what is your issue? Let's find somebody who can solve that issue. You go in together, and at least you own something, and you're getting 50% of the increase as opposed to 100% of zero because you don't own a home and you're not making any money. Right? I mean, that's the trick.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd say create an exit strategy.
Exactly.
Like, you could
have a plan.
Yep, have a plan. Say, X amount of years from now, we can refinance to get the joint venture off and split equity, or we sell the property after X amount of years. I mean, have an exit strategy up front, and it's going to make all parties on the same page.
For sure. And just to kind of put a cap on this, hopefully it all makes sense. Now, we would love to talk about your unique scenario and help you understand this a little bit more, because it's really, really powerful, but it's kind of an abstract topic because every situation is going to be different, but you can apply this to nearly every situation. There's other ways of going about this as well. Somebody could just simply go buy the property as an investment property and rent it back to you with a lease to own option. They could make money on the real estate. You could make sure you lock in some opportunity as prices sit today. And the reason I bring that up and why I think this is so critical is because the housing shortage TJ mentioned earlier, this legitimately is what we view as the next pandemic.
100%.
It is never, it's scary, honestly, how expensive housing is going to be. Like, to give you an idea, there are 6,800, between 6,000 and 7,000 homes available on the market in all of Salt Lake County. If you've done any research on what the county's doing, we have massive projects coming that are going to continue accelerating the in-migration. In other words, the people moving here to stay here who need a house, that is only accelerating every year as these projects go. We're already 31,000 units short.
Which is also scary too, because builder sentiment is low. Meaning
they've stopped building.
We're not building homes right now.
Right. They're trying to dump the inventory and assess the landscape. But every month we go pushes us. I mean, it takes a good 6 to 12 months to get a project approved.
Right, exactly.
And developed and moving.
Before there's even dirt moving.
Right. Before you can get through this. And it's scary stuff. So, like, you think about the most basic concept in all of economics, which is what we're talking about, is supply and demand. If there is not enough supply to fill the demand, what happens? Home prices go up, or forget about houses. Let's say it's Snicker bars and they stop selling Snicker bars. They can raise the price and people are going to pay it if they really want a Snicker bar, right? Because the supply is limited. Yep. So it's scary because the supply is limited now. And there's artificial slowing or artificial pullback of the demand because of rates. People aren't understanding and they're starting to catch on, like we said.
Which that's the scary part, because as rates come down, closer to the end of this year, it could really open that floodgates.
We legitimately just have a repeat. Rates come down. People are like, oh, cool, now it's more affordable. Well, now I got to pay $30,000 over list price to get the house because there's way too much competition. And like TJ said earlier, if you didn't catch it, we are already seeing multi-offers on houses right now with rates at more nearly 7%. There's multiple people trying to buy the same house. There's clearly an inventory issue, and that will result in things getting more expensive. So use some of these strategies to take advantage and not fall victim to the fear-mongering media headlines, because that's what most people are doing, and it's costing you potentially hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, what he said.
Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.